Most people don't actually care about modified cars, and for many young people it doesn't really bother them, but there are a proportion of us who love modifying cars, and when you are young this is the one thing that you want to do, and it's probably likely that you're going to do it young because you've got the spare time and money potentially. And in this video I want to talk about some of the best first cars you can buy that are easily modifiable and can be done on a budget if you needed to, and I hope you enjoyed this because I spent a lot of time making it. If you do, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let's jump into today's modified video. In at number 1 is the VW Lupo. I've decided to go for the VW Lupo because it is one of my favourites on this list, and it's also one of the cheapest Volkswagens that you can buy, that you can modify. Now, as you can see here, it's a really good example of a modified one, or you could go for a GTI, varying on your budget. And I just really like the Lupos because they've been around from 1998 to 2005, and they never made a sort of alternative after it. Now, we've had more Polos and various other little GTIs, but for me, the Lupo is still a standout because it's so easily cheap and to maintain and modify. You could do things like body kit, suspension, wheels, lights, anything really that you can think of, and it's all done at a fairly reasonable price. And the maintenance of the car is so small that's why you see a few of these, and even shows just dedicated to purely Lupos, and I think that's great. And there's a lot of people you can talk to when you're in the market for one. They also go up to a 1.6 engine, so it's not bad even if you left it at standard. If you are looking for one of the Lupos, it's $2,500 for a standard one. Just want to jump in here and say a massive thanks to everyone subscribing. I really appreciate the likes and support. At number 2, we have the Ford Fiesta. Now, I've gone for the Ford Fiesta because, let's be honest, everyone pretty much starts at Ford Fiesta at some point or has driven one. And it's a really, really easy car to modify, as you might expect. And that's probably why you see so many. Now, I believe there's around 1.7 million, possibly more, Fiestas roaming the streets of the UK. So you can understand why parts and labour for these cars are a bit easier to maintain and handle. Modifications, of course, come in various different versions, from the Z-Techs to the STs to a lot of different EcoBoosts that you might get, and pretty much any Fiesta really. You could go for any really, and there's loads to choose from. Wheels are a big thing for the Fiestas, given the Gymkhana was a big influence on Fiestas, as well as the body kits, lowering, that sort of thing. You could also do inside interiors, sat nav, that sort of thing. And as you can see, some really nice clean examples when it's done right. I actually really like the modified over the standard because it shows a bit more care and attention to the car. I think what's really good about the Fiestas is, again, it's reliable, and you are going to start with one as a first car for most people, so that's where you can get a flavour for modifications. Most Fiestas now are fairly cheap and start at around £4,000 for some of the nice ones. At number 3, I've gone for a car that is slightly different. It's the Seat Ibiza. It is Spain's answer to the Spanish Super Mini, and it's been really well received over the many years. Now, for this one, I'm talking about specifically the Mark 4 and 5. But of course, you could go for any one really, because Seat Ibizas are, again, great star cars. I'm specifically wanting to aim at the Mark IV because it was launched in July 2008, has been really popular over the last 10 or so years until the new, more recent one came out, where it got a bit more techy. As you can see here, some clean examples of lights and body kits, and just really flavoured up colours that you can really go for. Now, this is an alternative, I think, to a lot of Fiestas and potentially Golfs out there, because it's a bit different. Now, yes, there are a bit of a fan club and base for them, but I just think they are really cool. Now, obviously, once you get standard, it is a bit boring, so I would prefer to have it modified in a tasteful way that you could do certain things to. And I definitely really like the engine modifications on these because you can make them a lot faster with the remaps. You can also go for an FR, which is a standard version, and here's some clean examples again of ones I do love to see. And these are super cheap now at pretty much £3,000. At number 4 is a much popular German option, and it is a slightly older option. It's actually the BMW 3 Series, specifically the E46, which makes it the 4th generation from BMW. And this is at a time when BMW were making some pretty good cars without the huge grills, it's fair to say. And I actually really like the design of these, especially if you got like a coupe with 2 doors or a convertible. These still really hold up well today, in my opinion. And I think BMW, obviously now more expensive, a very luxury brand for most people, and a lot of finance involved. But with the 3 Series, you don't need to do that, because the 3 Series from the 2004 model at time was a great car to buy, and right now super cheap to get modifications is great. A lot of these have sold all around the world, and you see a lot of them still. Wheels are a massive thing for this car, and the reason you see a lot of them is because they are reliable cars. The straight 6 engine with the 6-speed manual was a fairly decent option at the time, where it was still a fairly mechanical and not too electronic. I think they really hold up well, and lights was a massive thing. Of course, the M3 was a production of that, and it came out of this. But you can also make it just look like an M3 without having spent as much out of £2,000. And finally, for the car in number 5, it is the Vauxhall Corsa. Of course, you would expect this car to be on this list, but there is good reason for it. Now, I don't particularly like the Corsa that much. I've never owned one myself. However, the UK has loved the Corsa and embraced it for pretty much a pop culture car. It's actually well known. Everyone should know what a Corsa is if you're from the UK or even Europe, known as the Opel Corsa. And pretty much since around 2000s, this car has been really popular and successful. In 2005, it was named Britain's best-selling super mini, and it has also been one of the most popular cars in 2006, beating the Ford Fiesta, even though that eventually overtook it again. However, the Vauxhall Corsa has been well known for its reliability. Engine parts and maintenance are cheap, although Vauxhall does have a rough history of its reliability. The reason why Corsas are so popular is that you can do pretty much anything to them, again, like every car on this list, on a budget. Popular in Need for Speed Underground, you could do wheels, suspension, tyres, anything from body kits, and there's a whole host of videos on YouTube to show you that. Any of these prices could vary from new to old, so really, I've gone for one here for £2,000, which I think was really reasonable. Just a few quick honourable mentions as always, and these cars are of course the MX-5. Now, it isn't a first car, but it is well known for its mods, so it could be for most people, as well as the Honda Civic at its basic form, which is still easy and reliable, as well as the Toyota GT86. Now, I know that's not a first car, but it's certainly well known for its parts and modifications. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, do let me know down below. Let me know what any cars I've missed off this first car modifications options. Let me know if there's anything you would choose differently. Hope you've enjoyed it. See you in the next one.